Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory and fear to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, set strong examples for the Akim and the flock. And peace, love, and salutations to sincere, faithful brothers who endure in this truth and enduring to the end, Lord willing. I want to do a quick video because there's this video that's on YouTube, is what you see in front of you. It's a situation where a couple centurions, handful of centurions, approached would be a brother, because he in the video he uses the name. I don't recognize the brother. I don't know what Hebrew Israelite group this brother is part of, or if he even is a part of a Hebrew Israelite group that labors. But I want to basically touch on a couple of things, because there's several brothers that's doing videos and putting in their input and responses to this video, and so I wanted to go ahead and take advantage of doing that as well. And I'm gonna play the video, and then I'm gonna give some insight on the video, and then also go into the scriptures. So it's a quick clip of the video. Here it is.
Tell me what's going on. All right, open the door. Hey, okay. You gotta let me know what's going on, man. You're going to jail. What's going on? For what? You ain't. What charges? On what charges? Wow. Get out of the car now. Get out of the car, man. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Let me get out the car. Okay, get out. Get out of the car. You ain't getting out of the fucking car. Get out.
Okay, that's pretty much the end of that video. And there's a couple things that was done improperly or incorrectly. For one, he didn't tune into what he was supposed to do according to the scriptures. For two, he was contentious, and for three, that contention brought forth strife. Those officers weren't playing around. He put on gloves. That lets you know you don't put on gloves unless you about to do some work. So when this cop walked up, he told him get out the car. Jake didn't listen right away. This devil already knew what he was gonna have to do, or what he was gonna do, or even what he wanted to do. And this Jake gave him the opportunity to do it. So when he put on them gloves, he was going to work. He wasn't about to play around. He broke the glass right off the back, so Jake couldn't roll the glass up, or he can get his hands on Jake. And to also, that was a power move to show Jake he wasn't fucking around. Then he opened up the door and commenced to pulling Jake out of the vehicle. So let's just get straight into some of the scriptures that basically tells you how to handle a situation like that and what he did wrong. First scripture, of course, we want to go to our big brother Yahushua. He wrote and said this. It's Matthew 5:25. Agree with thy adversary quickly. At that point, the adversary was the centurion, was the police officer. It says, agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him. I mean, you agree with him before he gets violent. Agree with him before he goes into his physical mode. Least at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, which exactly what happened. You were detained, you were apprehended, handcuffed, thrown to the ground, threw to the ground, handcuffed, and detained, and of course took to jail. And the judge delivered thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. And I'm pretty sure that Jake spent the night in jail that night. Verse 26, verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence, till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing. So basically, you're going to get handcuffed, put in jail. You're going to be delivered up to a judge. judge is gonna cast a sentence on you, and then you're not gonna come out of there until they got the uttermost amount of money they can get from you. And that's what Jake didn't do. Jake didn't listen to what Yahweh Shai gave the example, um, 2,000 years ago, how to handle this situation now. Us being in today's society and what's going on when it comes to unarmed black men or so-called black men in society with the police officers nowadays, you should always have this scripture in mind at any time you encounter any law enforcement. That includes security guards too. Don't think just because they're a security guard that they can't do the same thing. They're just a notch below a police officer, but they can do certain things to you, and they're gonna get away with whatever the hell they do to you as well. So should be within Jake's mind, especially those who are of the knowledge. When you have any encounters with any law enforcement, this should be within your mind. Your body language should portray this scripture. Your speech should portray this scripture, and and you got to show some humility in this situation because these police officers are assholes. They do whatever they want to do, and so you don't want to multiply stripes on yourself. You come in a humble manner. Let your posture and your body language portray that you are not a threat to them, so they won't feel at liberty to do anything and handle the situation with deadly force. And there's been situations that we've seen in this scenario where Jakes have gotten shot. There's there's a video that's floated that's on the internet. You can look it up right now. It's I believe it was the brother in, it was either in Louisiana, I believe it was in Louisiana or in Milwaukee. There's so many cases I can't remember, but the one Jake was in the car with his woman, just like this Jake was in the car with his woman, and she was filming just like he told his woman to start filming. But they shot him. They shot him, and this could have easily been this brother, and then that happened a while ago. So you could have easily avoided this situation just thinking back what happened with that other Jake, and you compound that with in concert with what the scriptures say, then you should never have even went through this type of situation. I'm gonna get on to the next scripture. This is Proverbs 17:4. It says, the beginning of strife is as one that letteth out water, therefore leaving off contentions, before it be meddled with. So when you see strife coming, you have to avoid the strife before you don't meddle with the strife. You're supposed to find a way, if they especially if that officer's coming with an attitude where you know that, like, okay, he's about ready to snap. You're supposed to read this situation. It's verse 15. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abominations to the Lord. So this Jake gave this the wicked, because that was an Edomite. You gave him justification to act the way he did by you not abiding by his orders and his commands. The first thing he asks you for, you supposed to, if you follow the first command that he asks you, and then the next command he asks you follow it, and you continue to follow his commands, he don't have reason or justification to get physically with you or to react the way he reacted. But you can't even do nothing in this situation now. He was justified by the excessive force that he used because you weren't obeying his command, and he's a peace officer. So you're supposed to abide by his commands. Anything else is considered resisting. So you can't do that in that situation. In the eyes of the Lord, your actions were abominable too, because you gave the wicked justification to do the actions that he took upon you. Verse 16. Wherefore is there a price in the hands of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he had no heart to it? Yeah, there's a price. This Jake had to pay a physical price of getting snatched out of the car, getting slammed to the ground, getting manhandled, face pushed into the concrete, and handcuffed. And that was just the beginning. No telling what else took place after the video stopped, or how they treated him upon the time he got into the back seat of the squad car on down to the police station. So there is a price to pay for that wisdom. Hopefully, this Jake, I don't know who he is. I don't have any issues against this guy to even be coming at him in any kind of way. It's just I'm basing this off clearly what I see and what I observed. So at this point, this Jake had to pay this type of price for to learn a lesson because he didn't put his mind to what Yahweh Shai said to do in this situation. The next scripture is Proverbs 20:2. It says, the fear of a king is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. So in this situation, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, starting with our big brother Yahweh Shai, who is the King of Kings, and he's also known as the Lion of Judah. He is the king in this situation because he gave us the blueprint of what to do. Verse 3. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. So in this situation, you're meddling when you don't follow what Yahweh Shai said to do. Our king, our lion, he gave in Matthew's 5:25 exactly how to handle this situation. But I want to look up a quick word because this is the second scripture that I read that had meddling in it or meddle it. So it's it's from the Hebrew word galath, which is to expose, lay bare, to expose, lay bare, to disclose oneself, break out, to break out in contention. Now, when this officer asked Jake to hand him his, I believe he asked for his identification or actually asked him to step out the vehicle, the first thing Jake did was got contention. He broke out into contention by asking them for what? What is this about? You know, what's going on? I need to know what's going on. Well, at that point, you don't need to know what's going on. What you need to do is follow commands. Each command. You may have ended up getting manhandled anyway, because if that's what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. But you have to, if you're gonna call upon the name Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we have to put ourselves in the situations where we're following what Yahweh Bashem Yahushai set forth for us to follow. So in that situation, you were supposed to agree with that man. When that man asked you to step out the car, your response is supposed to be, okay, sir, no problem. And begin to do that. Do it nice and slow, but do it. Keep your hands forward. Keep your hands where they can see. Look them in their eye. Don't be looking away. Don't give any false movements because these cops, they're on a trigger happy um, they're in a trigger happy vibration, man, where they're really they're this is the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. So these things are gonna happen more and more and more. You being one that's supposed to be a wisdom should know how to handle these situations. And a lot of different brothers have come in these circumstances, in these situations. Videos like this are probably not being made because brothers handled the situation in a proper manner. So therefore, it didn't even get that far or get to a situations like that. And the scripture also tells you that when a man's ways pleases the Most High, it makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. So if you're doing the things on a roundabout, on a whole circumference, on all levels as best you can to please the Most High, then the Most High will put you in situations to where your adversary is gonna be at peace with you. Back to the scripture. Okay, I'm gonna read that again. It says, "The fear of the king, the fear of a king, is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul." Now, we're not supposed to provoke Yahweh Shai. The scripture. As a matter of fact, I'll get it real quick. Exodus 23:20. It says, "Behold, I send an angel before thee, to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. And this is speaking about Yahweh Shai. So we're supposed to obey his words. What's his words? Agree with thy adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and be thou cast into prison. That was Yahweh Shai's, that what we were supposed to take heed to what he said. Like it said here, it says, provoke him not. It says, beware of him, obey his voice, provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. So in this situation, when it says fear of a king as as of a roaring lion, whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. So in this situation where this Jake didn't listen to it didn't obey Yahweh Shai's voice, because he is our king, he is our lion. If when you don't obey his voice, he's not gonna pardon your transgression. He's gonna put you in a situation where you're gonna get what happened to this Jake. Verse 20. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. So it's honorable when you find yourself in a situation where you deaden that strife. You cease from that strife, that contention, that confrontational spirit. That right there is an honor to the Most High to be in that type of spirit. But every fool he's gonna meddle, meaning he's gonna get into that go straight into contention. Like like when I read the definition of meddling. The next scripture is Proverbs 26 and 20. And so most of these scriptures is coming out of Proverbs, because when you read in Proverbs, you read in Sirach, Psalms, those are guidelines. Those scriptures and those books are actually ways to walk, how to conduct yourself. How should your actions be? What type of attitude to take? What type of spirit to be in? Those are instructional scriptures. Those are They give you instructions, they give you guidance. They give you those scriptures on how to really live our lives, how to how to be in this society and conduct ourselves. So they're very good scriptures to know how to govern yourself. The whole Bible, of course, gives you instructions on that, but those scriptures like Proverbs and Sirach and Ecclesiastes and Psalms, these are all ways how to of wisdom, and how to basically how to control yourself, how to operate and be in control of your spirit. They're really good scriptures to be reading. This is Proverbs 26 and 20. It says, where no wood is, there the fire goeth out. So where there is no talebearer, the strife cease. So in this situation, you don't give the in this situation, you don't give wood to the fire, which them officers, that's the fire right there. They come in, you ain't supposed to give them wood, meaning give them a reason to act the way they acted. You're supposed to take the wood out of that. You're supposed to give them air or wind. Wind puts out fires. You give them water. Water puts out fire. Water is known as the knowledge. So when you go to the knowledge, when you go to the wisdom of the scriptures, and that's how you conduct yourself, then you put that fire out. You won't give chase to the fire. You won't give reasons for that fire to blossom or get bigger and get out of hand. And then once the fire done got out of hand, you gotta call on the fire department. In his case, the fire department to put out the fire is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which he did. He called on the ultimate firefighter, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. He called on that name. You put yourself in that situation where you had to call upon that name. Me personally, when I get lit up by a police officer, I call upon a name and may the Most High direct my steps in that situation. But what you're supposed to do is call the name first, because you never know how it can go when it comes to these, the wicked. When it comes to these devils, you never know what type of spirit. I've been in situations where, they act a fucking fool with me, and even though I'm trying to handle it with wisdom, you just gotta endure it sometimes. But he did call upon the ultimate firefighter, which is Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. But if he would have not gave them that centurion wood, he wouldn't have had to call the fire department. Verse 21, as coals are to burning coals and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. It was exactly what this brother did, man. He gave them coals, wood, so that fire can grow, and he was contentious with them, and that strife grew harder and harder till he found himself face down in handcuffs. Now, in this situation, this Jake didn't handle it properly, but he did call upon the name. He easily could have been one of those individuals who ended up on the news because they got shot up by one of these cops. They all could have put solid holes in his body. But he called upon a name, so therefore he found himself in a situation where they kind of fucked him up, but they didn't end his life. And that just goes to show you that's a faith builder too. You call upon a name when you're in that troubled situation. The Most High will have the angels come to your rescue, because they really could have shot him up. At any point, they could have shot him up. He didn't have to break that window. He could have shot him up and said, this guy was reaching for something. I don't know what he's reaching for, so I fired. Or when they got him out the car, they could have still had moments where they could have pulled out a firearm. I'm sitting there watching them putting his knee to him, and I'm thinking any moment they're gonna pull out fire and shoot this guy, because that's what they did to the guy. I believe in one of the Jakes that they had wrestled to the ground. They had him down, his knee and his chest, and they still shot him up. So at any time this could have happened to this guy, this Jake. I don't want to go on saying he's a brother, even though just because he called upon a name. But he did call upon a name, and I feel in his circumstance, the Most High came through for him. Him calling on the name is what actually probably did save his life. I'm gonna close with this last scripture. It's James 13 and 3 and 13. Salakia. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness and wisdom. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descended not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. So it's telling you, a wise man, based on the way he talks and his conversation and his works, meaning the way he carries himself and his actions, will show forth if he has humble, which is meekness, and if he's wise. But if he has that bitter and envy and strife in his heart, in his mind, that glory doesn't come from, that's not of the truth, and it doesn't come from the Most High. It's earthly. It comes from, it's worldly, pretty much. It's not coming from above, not coming from Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Verse 16, for where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil works. And that whole situation was extremely confusing, because it came down to this cop breaking the window, and then three cops trying to muscle you out the car, and your woman calling on the name, and you trying to tell them let me out, and it's trying to, you can't even tell if they letting you, if you're trying to come out, or you fighting them from coming out, and you telling them let me out, or whatever the case may be. It all looked like a bunch of confusion. Then it ended up you having to call on the name when your face to the ground. This is all of evil works. It's all of strife and confusion, and this is what comes from that contention. You find yourself in a situation that this Jake was in. Verse 17, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. So if that wisdom that you have, that you hold, and it comes from the Most High, it'll come across as pure. You'll be peaceable and gentle, your 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 you're when you have a situation where you're treated with a an officer, it'll be full of mercy. That officer's not gonna be looking to put his neck, put his knee in your neck. That good fruit's gonna show through, and he's not gonna come at you with any with that violent, obsessive force like mentality, and you're not gonna look like a hypocrite. Because to me, if you supposedly in this knowledge, and Yahushua gave us the blueprint of how to conduct ourselves when it comes to dealing with a centurion or a modern day centurion, which is the police officer or law enforcement. And if you don't handle that situation according to what the scriptures say, which is our wisdom, and then you call upon the name, that's hypocrisy. It's like a hypocrite. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna do what the scriptures say, but yet I'm gonna call upon the name. To me, that looks like a hypocrite, and your fruits, I mean your works, is not showing forth that you have the wisdom and that you're a true follower of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Now this Jake, I don't know who he is once again, and this is not about him. He went through what he went through, and Lord willing, if the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua is truly with him, which it seems to be because he didn't get his head blown off, there's a possibility that it's just a learning experience from this Jake, and that he takes this thing more and more serious. He digs more into what the scriptures and be a doer of the word, not just a hearer of the word. And he'll one day wake up to the fact that he didn't handle this situation properly according to the scriptures. And then one day he'll be in a situation where if this happens to him again, he can handle it in the right way. Everything is a learning experience. I don't know. This Jake could have just found out the truth, could have just found a name or whatnot. It could have been the Most High using this experience for him to get him to become that much of a stronger believer upon the name. The Most High is, his ways are above our ways. So who knows why this Jake went through what he went through, but he didn't quite handle the situation properly according to the scriptures, which it's got caught and noted on a video so other brothers can see as examples. The Most High is beautiful. He set forth examples for his elect, and so now this guy could actually be part of the elect. I don't know, but he called upon the name, and it seemed like he believed in the Most High. In my mind, the Most High spared this guy. He only probably got arrested, and now he got to pay with his with shekels. He got to pay with financially, and he really had to pay too hard physically. And verse 18 says, "And the fruits of the righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace." So if the Jake would have made peace, peace would have came for him. But he made contention, and contention was met with him. So with that, I hope this video was edifying, and I hope that brothers see this situation that Jake went through as a learning experience, and how to handle things better according to the scriptures. And thanks for those who had time to sit and listen to this video, because I thought it was a pretty good example for us to take heed to, and a lot of other brothers are making videos regarding this. So with that, I want to say all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect brothers out there who's doing this work in sincerity and truth, and the few sisters that tune in. Shalom.